Okay, so anyways, I got a few videos in there, right? Um, I don't even think I've said my name once, have I? Except on the thingy there, title. So anyways, I'm gonna do a quick who am I and what am I doing and why am I doing this? And so this is gonna be like my little testimony of where I thought I would be going in my life maybe a long time ago, but it's been a slow journey, and I've had some trips and falls along the way. So I think in one of my other videos I called it a derailment. That was the most recent one, but I don't know if I've been totally derailed, but I think this time I was. But anyway, so let's start with this. Kristina Hurley, right? I'm married to Sean Hurley. Some of you know who he is, some of you don't. I've been with him for almost, around 10 years. I'm just starting to figure out who he is. But the two of us, I think we've come to a place where I think we know each other better than anybody else out there except God, maybe. But anyways, so, change, again, my name's Kristina, and change would be something that I would look for most of my life, because everything in my life I didn't like, and I wanted everything about it changed, but I didn't really know how to go about doing that. And coming from, a dysfunctional growing up, it's really hot today, so if my glasses slide off, it's because I'm seriously sweating. Just coming from a dysfunctional household and whatnot, I guess what you grow up thinking is normal, and then after you start to get out in the world and stuff like that, you start to realize that it's maybe not quite as normal as you'd thought. So, I grew up in my household, and I just grew up with a lot of insecurities and a lot of anger, and just at a very young age, just things were really going well in my life. And after you get out there in the world, you start to hear that it wasn't just me. I think for a long time, we get this thing in our minds, or something. It was for me, that nobody could ever understand what I went through, or nobody could ever feel the feelings that I felt, or whatnot. And so out of my childhood, I come out, and I'm in search of change. And so I'm on this journey, and I'm not going to get into all the nitty gritty stuff of change, but and the part of that change would be trying alcohol, drugs, sex, drugs, rock and roll, self-help books, therapy, psychiatrists, medication, more therapy, more medication, more psychiatrists, and everybody's like, nobody has an answer. Nobody really has a clue. If you find that rare person in there that can give you some answers, send them my way. I'd like to know who they are. But I did have I learned a lot along the way. I learned a lot from books that I read. I learned a lot from the people that I listened to, even though in the world, people would be like, "Oh my God, you listen to Oprah?" I mean, sometimes she had some good stuff to say. Dr. Phil too. Got a couple things from him, from one of his books I read, and but that search, that just going and going and going and going and going, to find that change that was going to fill that void inside of me, would go on for many years. The bugs don't ever bother me. Now that I want to talk and try to focus, I'm going to be like this, like, trying to swat bugs away. But anyways, so, yeah. And here's a weird thing. Like, I would, and through periods of my life, I would drive by these churches and I would think to myself, like, I should go in there and I should just fall on my face and at the front of the church. And it would always confuse me because I would be like, why would I want to do that? Like, that doesn't even sound right. And like, I would hit churches sometimes along the way in my life. Somebody would invite me to church and I'd go in there and cry, and I'd be like, I'm not going to go there, every week if I'm just going to cry the whole time I'm there. But I don't really know what's going on with me, and I don't really have anybody to teach me. Nobody's guiding me and showing me what all this stuff means. I have a story on my husband's webpage, and I think I've shared it at I did prison ministry for a while, and we'll get to all that stuff too. But about when I was almost 8 years old, so it was a couple weeks before my 8th birthday. This little girl named Mary came into my neighborhood where I lived, and she was giving out Bibles. So I don't know how many other kids got them. I only know that I got one, and I was told that I gave my life to Christ out on the back porch and stuff like that. So I believe that that event that took place and getting this Bible, and I can show you, like, this Bible was given to me by Mary Lewis on August 18th of 1973. Mary Lewis was from Pennsylvania visiting her aunt and uncle. And I took this Bible, and she underlined John 3:16 in it, and I knew that she had underlined something, and we read it together. I remember sitting on the front porch with her and stuff, and we just sat there, and I don't really remember a whole lot about it, but I know that when I took this Bible, it became something that became very precious to me, and I didn't know why. I would spend years going literally page by page by page, because at that time, that I don't know that John 3:16 is John as a book, 3 is a chapter, 16 is a verse. I don't know. I just keep trying to look for this verse and read it. And I read it at some different periods of my lifetime. As a teenager, getting into trouble, and wanting to know why nobody loves me, and I was taking care of my brothers and my sister a lot, and my mom was off doing her thing, and so this Bible would just be special to me, and like I said, I didn't really understand it for years and years and years. And it would be many years later, when I was around 37, that I would give my life to Christ again. And so I have a whole, garbage bag full of stuff in between there, that a lot of good, a lot of bad. A lot of it wasn't garbage. A lot of learning, and a lot of just insanity before Christ, right? The day before Christ. I have so many just stories of God being in my life, but not knowing that it was God, and just God experiences. And but this one here was my first God experience, this Bible. If you only knew how many times I stood above a trash barrel, because I was going to move out of the apartment I was in, and I'm one of those people who I don't really do well with clutter, and so I'm going to throw stuff away again, and that gets me in trouble a lot too. And so that'll be all stuff that we start talking about, because oh my goodness, the crazy things I do. And then I think to myself, what is that? So, but this, I feel like when I started to understand that at a time in my life, even at 7 years old, when nothing in my world made sense. I was filled with fear. I was filled with anger. I didn't like who I was. I didn't have the parents I thought, you know, I was going to get. Mom and Pa Ingalls were not around. They were on the TV set, but they were not in my house. And this book would just let me know years later that God was there. He sent a little girl from another state to visit her aunt and uncle, and her and I would form a bond, and she would lead me to Christ, and start me off with a Bible, because God already knew where my journey was going to take me. And I think he just needed me to, you know, the grace of God, I believe, blessing or curse, I guess we can go either way. The grace of God covered me in so many circumstances in my life. I think that many of us can say that. You know, when we go back and we look, and you know, for so long, I just was so angry with the whole God thing, because I was like, you know, if there was a God, my childhood definitely wouldn't have looked the way it looked. But I guess if there was, you know, if that was the reality, then nobody's childhood would look that way. And nobody's childhood would be worse or better, you know, and we just, yeah, I had to get out of my own way. So the grace of God covers me, you know, and this Bible would become one of my most precious, because I guess it's a prize, because the prize was Jesus. Jesus would be the answer. It would, you know, eliminate many of the other things that I tried in my life, you know, alcohol and psychiatrists and pills and medications and, you know, anti this and anti that. And, you know, do I have good days and bad days? I surely do. But every day that I walk with God next to me, me and Jesus, Holy Spirit, Holy Trinity, four's not a crowd, you know, is a good day. So this is, I am trying to keep these all under, text message, all under 15 minutes, so you don't get too bored. But I'm going to try to keep them coming a little bit, you know. That's one of my my challenges, was even just this, like, you know, I put a video on the other day, and then the next day I'm like, oh, you're a loser. How quickly do we listen to peon? You know, nobody wants to hear what you have to say, and, you know, which really could be true. So, you know, if you don't want to hear it, I guess hit stop, press pause, or listen to somebody else. So, but I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and I'm trying to commit to it, and that's going to be my challenge for right now, is staying committed and doing my backyard testimonies. So we're at right about 14 minutes here, and I hope you enjoyed that testimony of the Bible. It was given to me on August 8th, 1918. You know, it's weird, because I always thought it was August 8th, and I just looked in today, and it was August 18th, and I was like, oh, there you go for paying attention. So anyways.